Hi there everybody, and welcome back to another tree-tastic edition of the Witchcraft Diaries. I hope you're all well and enjoying the new year. Today we're going to be looking at the mighty holly tree. Alongside the oak tree, the holly was one of the most important trees to Druids. The holly is one of the king trees, and in our Ogham alphabet, the name for holly is Tinne, T-I-N-N-E. I would love somebody, Tinne, to tell me if they speak Gaelic how to say half of these names, as I'm very sure that I'm saying them and pronouncing them incorrectly. So anyone who is fluent in Gaelic who could help me out with the pronunciations of Ogham, I would be very happy. But for now, we'll call it Tinne and Tinne. And you know, pasties, the old Cornish name for pasties was Tinne Oggy, for the little leaf-like indentations they would have around the edge. So there's a real link of Tinne in popular culture throughout the ages. The holly tree is, as I mentioned, one of the king trees. This is the Christianised version of it, calling it a king tree. I feel before Christian times, the holly was a wild vegetation god, really embodying the spirit of life. The holly leaves, with their evergreen, shining colour, evoke the energy of immortality. In fact, immortality and ever-living and evergreen is some of the magic that we link with holly. There's a legend that every midsummer and every midwinter, the holly king, the wild man of the holly, and the oak king, the wise man of the oak, would fight. The holly and the oak were thought of as twins, as brothers, eternal enemies, yet ones that couldn't live without each other. And the oak king, as mentioned in my oak video, would rule from midwinter to midsummer, because at midwinter the oak would defeat the holly, but at midsummer, around about the 21st of June, the holly king would defeat the oak king, and the holly king would rule from the summer solstice to the winter solstice. And one reason for that is because after the summer solstice, all other trees, their leaves begin to lose their colour, they begin to fade a bit as they slow their descent into a slower part of the year, into autumn. But not the holly. The holly stays shiny, the holly stays vibrant and alive. The holly month, however, is from July the 8th to August the 4th, around about those dates I think. So if you're born in that time, your birth tree is the holly, is Tinne. And this is interesting because it's just after the reign of the oak that the holly takes over, but most of us associate the holly with the Christmas period when the berries are red. There's much folklore that links the holly to the winter solstice, and it was a British Celtic custom to take in a sprig of a holly tree into your house over the winter to protect the fairies and elves, and they would do you no harm and help you during this time. However, you were told, the custom was, that by Imbolc Eve, which is the 31st of January, that you'd have to take all this outside again, otherwise it'd be bad luck. So the holly as being a home to fairies and elves is noted here. So being a home to spirits, being a wild vegetation god, there's many powerful links to holly. You can see why, the king element comes in here. The leaves look like a crown, and in fact in one of our favourite carols, The Holly and the Ivy, it says, of all the trees that are in the woods, the holly bears the crown. Now this carol is obviously pre-Christian, as it's obvious, and some of the words have been changed, but the holly and the ivy represents the male aspect, because holly is a very masculine energy, and the ivy represents the female aspect, because ivy is thought of as a feminine energy. So the mixing of the holly and the ivy is a male and the female. So that's quite interesting. As I said, it's a masculine energy. Planetary associations includes Mars, so the battle god Mars is linked to holly. You can probably see why. The spears, you wouldn't mess with a holly tree. Well, if you did, you'd be in trouble. And also Saturn is another planetary link. Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn is at the time of the winter solstice. Saturn's about patience and lessons. It's a very strong, evolving kind of energy. So you're getting from this, some of the ideas of the holly is, you know, we look to other trees and they have all energies. They have light-hearted energies, they have fun energies. This is a deep energy, this is a wild and strong energy, yet it's one where you're meant to know yourself. It's one where you're meant to take responsibility for your actions. It's a king tree. It may be wild, but it's also got that energy and that lesson of knowing yourself. Of course, you've got the berries as well. That I can't really see. There's some berries left here. The red berries of blood, another key to life. There is, again, here's my doctor's warning: do not self-administer holly berries. They're pretty toxic. But there was ways where the wise woman or the druid would be able to administer a small amount of holly berry, and it would work as a purifier. It would work as in a healing way. But I'm saying don't do that now, because for children especially, it can be really, really poisonous. So another obviously aspect of holly is the guardian, the protector. You know, you wouldn't go through a holly bush, so what's inside the holly energy is protected. So hollies often protect sacred groves and sacred places. As well as that, people born under the holly sign are very generous, and people born under the holly sign are thought of as prickly if you didn't, if you went the wrong way with them, but the heart of it, they're very giving, generous, they're changeable and strong. There's so much more I can tell you about the holly, but I know we're just doing short videos, but it's one of the most important trees in Druidic and Celtic folklore. So it's time maybe to go outside, to spend a bit of time with the holly and see if you tap in to the energy of the wild man of the holly tree. So there was my video on the holly tree. I did forget one fact that I wanted to add in the power of the holly. Think of one of the most successful areas of creative energy and business in the world. It's Hollywood. So there's another link to holly being the king, the leader. Yeah, so I need that to think about. So thank you again for watching my video. I absolutely adore, as you might have noticed, talking about trees and learning as well. So, if you are really interested in trees and have any facts or ideas that you want to share or folklore, please do in the comments below. As always, thank you for everyone that's been subscribing. Feel free to like, subscribe and share my videos. Also, come follow me on Twitter. All the info should be down here. Have a lovely day and see you next time.